my friends, how are you? I hope you're doing well, and I hope you are having a great start to March. Here in Michigan, it's not so spring-like. In fact, it was snowing this morning. For those of you that don't know, I'm Michelle, and this is my channel, Penny's Daughter Shares, where I talk primarily about cross-stitch. And today we will be talking a whole lot about FFOs. And for anyone that's not for sure what an FFO is, it is a fully finished object. And I've been in the middle of FFO March Madness and my FFO Challenge 2023 with Jen of Two Tall Stitchers on Flosstube. I almost said Instagram. That's their Flosstube. And Jen is also jenquilter on Instagram. So I'm going to be talking a whole lot about that. Before I get to that, if you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe below. And if you would like to receive notifications when I post a new video, hit that bell down below also. That will send you out notifications when I post something. Let's see, I have everything outlined. I'm still going to look at my notes because this isn't sort of the normal way I do things. I am used to kind of having a list and I pull from my pile and show you things. And I'm going to do a lot of inserting either what are sort of like little video clips or photos up here to walk through all of my FFO March Madness, which is where I want to start today. Oh, and before that though, I do want to point out, you may notice that I'm wearing PJs today. I was just wanting to get everything up and recorded and get going, and sometimes I get bogged down in like doing my hair a certain way or having a certain shirt on, and that's a big part of my FFO challenge this year. Is I'm learning how to challenge myself to not have every detail accounted for and every detail perfect in my mind all the time. So this is going to be more like I don't know, like a slumber party? I don't know, right? Because we're just going to hang out and chat. I'm going to give you some results and talk about a few actual FFOs that I got done since I last talked to you. So I think that catches you up on most of that. To be honest, if I were to give you a life update, I think almost all of it is FFO March Madness related. So that is where we're going to go now and jump in. I am going to start by showing you my original bracket. So this is the very start of the bracket. If you're interested or you're not caught up on all of what March Madness is, for me, everybody does it different. My Flosstube 30, so my just previous episode, explains everything in detail, and I go over every project that I have in my lineup, all 16 of them, in more detail. I'm not going to do as much of the fine details this time because I've already done it. And I think for those of you that have been watching, you're familiar with most of it. So I don't want to like keep going over and over it because that's boring, I think, to hear it repeatedly. If you have questions though, let me know down below in the comment box or over on Instagram. You can direct message me or send me an email, whatever works for you. Okay, so did I say I put my bracket up here? I think I did. So that's my original bracket. And what I want to go through is to show you the matchups and then who won of each round or each set of voting. So we're going to start with what I'm calling my pillow toss bracket. And the first matchup, which I'll put a picture here, it had my father-in-law's ugly Christmas sweater up against the Santa Face sweatshirt that my mom had actually cross-stitched more than 25 years ago, probably close to 30. And so these two things I plan to make into pillows so that we can enjoy them and use them as memory pieces for two very important people to our family. So that was the first voting, and now I'll show you the voting results. As you can see, my mom's cross-stitched Santa Face sweatshirt won this particular matchup. And I have a hard time saying that they win, especially when we get into talking about designers' pieces that go up against each other specifically, because I feel bad for the project that didn't get as many votes. Notice I can't say loser because none of these are losers. They're all great projects. So I try to talk about them in terms of what was the favorite, what was voted favorite. Okay, so anyway, I am in process with both of these and getting them finished because they are both really important pieces for our family. All right, up next is this matchup, which is Heartstring Samplery's Farm and Folk Penny Cushion. And it was coming up against Berries in Bloom from Hands On Design. Again, both of these I plan to make into a type of throw pillow. The Berries in Bloom has a kit that I bought from Simple Stitches Fabric Shop that will be a throw pillow. And as you can see from the results, the Berries in Bloom from Hands On Design won this matchup. So that is our second favored project going into the next round of voting. And that's it for the pillow toss bracket. Up next is what I'm calling my put a pin in it bracket. And our first matchup shown here is they're Jeanette Douglas designs. There's 4 of them and they're for 4 seasons. Let's see, Jump into Spring, Soar into Summer, Fall into Autumn, and Cozy into Winter. And I plan to make those into 4 individual pin pillows. And those came up against Abby Rose Designs Primitive Merry Christmas Pillow. And again, that also I plan to make into a pin pillow. So that was our first matchup and put a pin in it. And here are the results. And as you can see, Abby Rose Designs Primitive Merry Christmas Pillow was the favored project. And I have to tell you, this one, I think, surprised me. I honestly expected the Jeanette Douglas pillows to be the favored project in this matchup. So I was kind of surprised at the results. Okay. Like I said, this is really weird. I keep talking and not actively showing you things, right? I just keep putting pictures up and it's throwing my rhythm off. Okay, so our second matchup in Put a Pin in It is shown here. And we have Block Party 4th from Hands On Design, and it went up against No Place Like Home from the Scarlet House. And Block Party I plan to make into the pincushion block as shown on the chart, and the No Place Like Home I plan to make into a pin pillow very similar to the chart picture. And here are the results. And Hands On Design Block Party 4th won. And yes, I'm going off my memory because I forgot to write it down. I'm pretty sure this might have been the matchup that won by 2 votes. That was the small difference, which, to be honest, a lot of these are fairly close in terms of results when they finish. There's not huge differences. There are a couple that they got bigger differences, but like I said, I think this was the 2 vote chain difference, but I should have written that down because I can't remember for sure. But that also shows that voting matters with this because it gets so close. Now we're on to the next bracket, which is Forget the Frame bracket. And the first matchup in this one is here's the picture. And the first one up in here is the Lady Liberty Drum from Blackbird Designs, which I stitched in the summer of 2021, by the way, and it's still hanging around. And that went up against Bobbin Along Drum from Notforgotten Farm. And I was a little surprised at how the voting went with this one. Just because it was a fairly clear winner, and I think I expected it to be much closer in voting than it was. So, and here are the results. The winner was, the favored project was Bobbin Along from Notforgotten Farm. And so that will move to the next round. And then the next matchup in Forget the Frame bracket is, and let me put my picture up here, is the Let's Talk Stitching project bag from Hands On Design. And that also has a kit from Simple Stitches Fabric Shop that I purchased that I will use to make the bag. And that went up against Tulip Festival from Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. And I plan to make this into a wall hanging. And this one, the results are here. And you can see the Let's Talk Stitching project bag was the favored project. And like I was saying earlier, there was a two vote difference. It might be this matchup that was the 2 vote difference. I know, anyway, it doesn't matter because we have a winner or a favored project. So that wrapped up the Forget the Frame bracket in the results. So my final or 4th and final bracket is what I'm calling Frame It Up. And so each of these projects I plan to frame to fully finish. And the first matchup here is Winter Rose Manor from Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread, and the pin cushion that's also included in the chart. So I'll have actually 2 separate FFOs when I get done, but they go together, and so I put them together. And that went up against Letters from Nora, the letter V, which I did for my Vivian. and I plan to frame that. And here are the results from this. And as you can see, Winter Rose Manor was the favored project. And I had multiple comments from those of you that know me and know Vivian, either apologizing because you didn't vote for Vivian's letter V, or saying, I'm going to vote for that letter V because I know Vivian will want it done. And did I show you? I did show you the results, right? See, I can't keep track because I want to tell you and share the stories. So the day that voting was up, I will tell you she was quite disappointed as her project, or her letter V that I had made for her, was not winning the voting. And I think she even specifically asked me, Mom, are you going to finish that anyway? And I said, yes, Vivian, I am going to get this done and ready for you no matter what. It just was fun to put it in the voting. So, and that's with all of these things. I plan to fully finish all of them at some point. It's just, I thought it would be fun to do March Madness and have voting and get your opinions on what you like better. All right, so that was the first matchup of Frame It Up. And I hope that flowed because, like I said, I lost track of my train of thought because I wanted to share with you what Vivian was saying about her voting. So, and the final matchup of the whole bracket and the final matchup in the Frame It Up bracket is What Remains from Blackbird Designs. And that went up against Flora Graphica from Jan Hicks Creates. And I love these both and I want to get them both framed. Here are the results for the favored project out of these two. And as you can see, it was What Remains from Blackbird Designs. And as a reminder, I did stitch this in honor of my mom. And I had originally intended on it being finished stitching, which it was, and fully finished, which it was not, by December 28th of this past year. So in 2022, that was the 25th anniversary of her passing. So that is something that needs to get done, and we'll get there. Let's see how it goes on our next round of voting. All right, so I am going to show you what the bracket looks like now with the results of all of these matchups. And then I'm going to quickly show you side-by-side pictures of what you'll be voting on next round, which will... So this next round of voting, we are down to 8 projects. When we get done with 4 days of voting, I'll have 4 final projects, which I'm calling my final 4. And I will FFO all 4 of these before the end of the month. And I will have voting at the end of March for these 4 fully finished projects, and you'll vote on them after they're fully finished to decide what the favorite one was of the whole month. So, like I said, we'll have 4 days of voting, and it's going to start on Tuesday, March 14th will be the first day's vote. So we'll have voting on March 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th to get down to the final 4. And then I plan to get another Flosstube up to show those final 4 going into the fully finished process. And I also want to just explain something really quick or try really quick. I had questions about how to vote, or I've had people voting but not doing it the way that it's organized to be. So like I said, voting is over on my Instagram. My Instagram is the same as my Flosstube channel, so it's Penny's Daughter Shares, if you're not already following me over there. The easiest way is to follow me over there in order to vote, but you don't have to. It's just easiest to be able to see what's going on. And the votes will be up, and how it runs is I put it up in my stories on Instagram. So anyone that you're following on Instagram, there is a banner across the top of your app that shows like highlighted profile pictures of anyone that has an active story out there on Instagram. And those are up for 24 hours only from the time they're posted. So let's say I post at 9 a.m. on Tuesday for a vote. It'll only be up there until 9 a.m. on Wednesday. Obviously local time, but you get the gist. And when you're in my stories and you see, I'll have it up there and there will be a little box on the stories, which, let's see, I'm going to try to input or pop in one of the little video clips that came from the stories that shows the voting box here so that you can see what it looks like. So when you tap on and you look through my stories, this will come up for the current active vote. And all you have to do is tap on your selection within that little box. That's it. So it's super easy once you know how to do it. Now I try to share these in my posts, like in my regular posts, so that you know to go look in my stories to be able to vote. And that way the results are all tabulated by Instagram for me. And I can it tells me the number of votes for each thing. It shows, a percentage breakdown. And that's how it's decided. So I hope I explained that pretty well. Got that little video clip insert, so that should help a lot. The other way you can see someone's stories is if you, at any point that you can look at me and you see my profile picture, which is a circle next to any of my posts, or if you searched me on Instagram, and if you see a highlight circle around that, that means I have an active story out there. And if you tap on that, it will take you to it. So you don't have to be following me. If you find my profile and tap on my profile picture, you can see the stories also. So that's a quick little help on the Instagram voting. And I don't know if you have questions, let me know and I'll try to help. I did message with a few people that I think I was helpful. So it's super easy and it is really fun for me. And I think I hear from you guys that vote, it's fun too to be able to see it. So that's my little Instagram tutorial for the moment. All right, so let's get back to the voting. So I'll put my bracket back up here that's showing you the 8 items that are going into the voting this week. And now we'll start with the pillow toss bracket. So here's that bracket itself. So like I said, once you vote on this will be the pillow FFO that I will have done by the end of the month. And here is a picture of the 2 items going up against each other. So it's the Santa face sweatshirt that my mom cross-stitched and going up against the Berries in Bloom from Hands On Design with the pillow kit from Simple Stitches Fabric Shop. All right, so that is our pillow toss matchup. Up next is the Put a Pin in It bracket. And again, this is the voted favorite in this matchup will be what moves on into the final four and will get fully finished before the end of the month. And here is our matchup, which is the Abby Rose Designs Primitive Merry Christmas Pillow. And it is going up against Hands On Design Black Party 4th. And just as a reminder, the Primitive Merry Christmas Pillow I plan to make into a pin pillow, and the Black Party 4th I do plan to make into the black pin cushion as the instructions give to you in the chart for Black Party 4th. Okay, and up next is Forget the Frame bracket. Here's the bracket. And here are the two items going up against each other. It is Notforgotten Farm's Bobbin Along Drum. And it's going up against Hands On Design Let's Talk Stitching Bag. And again, I got a kit from Simple Stitches Fabric Shop to make the project bag. And whichever one of those is voted favorite will be fully finished before the end of the month and will be able to be voted on as the favorite project of the month. And okay, so that is Forget the Frame. And the final bracket is Frame It Up. And here's the bracket. And here is the first matchup. There's only one matchup in each bracket now. Like I said, this is really hard because it's not my usual way of doing a video. Okay, so the Frame It Up bracket here's our picture. And it is the Winter Rose Manor and its coordinating pin cushion. And that is going up again. Winter Rose Manor is from Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. And it's going up against What Remains from Blackbird Designs. And like I said, those are in the Frame It Up bracket. So yes, they're getting framed. All right. And I meant to specifically say each one of those brackets in which day. I'll put the overall bracket back up here just so that you can see. So on Tuesday, March 14th will be the pillow toss bracket vote. And on Wednesday, the 15th will be the Put a Pin in It vote. On the Thursday, the 16th, that will be Forget the Frame vote. And on Friday, the 17th, will be Frame It Up vote. And I want to make sure, so I explained the voting, when it's happening. Like I said, I plan to do another video. So the results for all four of these votes will be final by next Saturday. So I hope to have another video up by next Monday, giving you the final sort of wrap up on what's going on with the final four projects that I'll be getting done and will be voted on at the end of the month. And then also we can talk about maybe some of the other things that I've been working on in the meantime. So voting starts again on Tuesday, March 14th. can't keep that straight in my head without looking at it. So, like I said, that will be over on Instagram in my stories, and you can vote on my FFO March Madness. So that wraps up the March Madness update. Now I would like to show you that I've actually done some FFOs. I have 3 to share. All right, are you ready for some more FFOs? I'm pretty excited. I don't know if I broke rules because I did some FFOs of things that did not get the largest number of votes. But I also, the things that I FFO'd, I'm not sure why it took me so long, because it didn't take me as much work or time to actually get them FFO'd as I was afraid of, I guess. I don't know if that's the right way to put it. So let's jump in. So like I said, I have 3 more FFOs. I'm also going to give you where they fall in the total number of FFOs I have for the year in 2023 already. So up first is, this is my number 16 FFO of 2023. And here's the chart picture. This is letters from Nora, the letter V. And as you would recall from all of our voting results, this one did not get voted to the next round, but I just decided to pick it up and get it fully finished, and I am so tickled with it. So let's show it to you. Here it is, all framed up. Isn't it beautiful? I love how it turned out, and this is honestly, it framed up fairly easy for me. I'm not sure why it took me so long to get this done, but it did. But now it's done, and Vivian is so happy with it. She had no idea I was working on it, and when she got home from school that day, I couldn't wait to show her, and she was just pleased as punch. So if you're looking at it, you can tell, and I know I've talked about it before, I made a few changes with the colors on this one because Vivian's favorite color is pink. And so I used pink and purple for the letter V. And I think that these large beads, I think I changed what color those were. Everything else is stitched as called for. The called for beads and called for floss colors. I stitched this on 32 count. Let me look at this. Okay, it's Tallulah from Seraphim. That means I stitched 2 floss threads over 2 linen threads. And so that is the stitch, and then I framed it up. This is just a standard 8x10 frame, and it fit perfectly, and you can still see like the pink and purple modeling on the linen, and so I think it just framed it up really beautiful. Very happy with this. So, and the frame, yep, okay, I did get it from Hobby Lobby. So, I don't think it was all that long ago that I got it. I just think it looks beautiful. I did not use the glass, obviously, with the beads. How can you, right? So that is FFO number 16 for the year and my FFO challenge 2023. All right, so that is beautiful. Oh, all right, and I have more fun to show you. Okay, up next is number 17 for the year. And I'll show you the chart picture real quick. This is Tulip Festival from Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. And I'm sure you can take note, this also did not get the largest number of votes in its matchup, but I fully finished it. Oh, as a reminder, this was the overall vote winner of my March Madness that I did last year in 2022, and my intention was to have it fully stitched and fully finished before the end of March last year, and I had it stitched, but I didn't get it fully finished, and honestly, I don't remember why, but I've had this laying in a drawer, ready to fully finish, and pretty much planned out, like, in pieces cut for it and everything, probably since around the end of last March, so almost a year. Why I just didn't get it done, I don't know. Here it is. Isn't it cool? Oh, I'm so happy with it. So I'm just calling it a wall hanging. This wall hanging piece is actually something I bought from Target last year, and it has two white bunnies on it that obviously you can't see, but I just thought it coordinated really well with this, and the size was just right to put this piece on there. So I'm really happy with that. And so let's see. Let me give you details. How I stitched this is, it is stitched on 32 count Weeks Dye Works. It's linen is the color. And it's linen. So it's linen. And I used mostly called for colors. I did substitute her dress because I couldn't find Weeks Dye Works Teal Frost, which is what was called for at the time that I wanted to start stitching it. So I substituted in Classic Colorworks Shamrock, and I love it. And then, let's see, what else did I substitute? The green, again, I couldn't find the called for, and so I used Gentle Arts Avocado. Let me hold this like this, it's a little easier for me. And the only other substitution I made was that the bunny was called for in a silk, and I was too afraid of silk at the time, and to be honest, I still am not over my fear of using silk yet, because I haven't used it yet, and I know I need to try sometime, but so I used Weeks Dye Works Dirt Road, and I was just trying to get close to the called for silk color. So that's my stitching. Like I said, it's a 32 count fabric. That means 2 floss threads over 2 linen threads for me. And so this wall hanging was, like I said, I bought it at Target. It was pre-made. And all I did was I backed my stitch with interfacing to give it a little more stability, especially this particular linen is a little on the soft side, so it needed a little more stability. And then I sewed it, and I think you can kind of see if I show you by the side here, I sewed it to a piece of inexpensive craft felt in this like natural color. I don't know what it's called, but again, to help it have a little more stability. And then I just went over my sewing line again to sew it to the wall hanging. So you can see the stitching from my sewing machine right on through there. And then I'm gonna call the fringed edge is the finish of the year in 2023 because I keep using it. but it works every time, because you're going to see it again in a minute. It just, I don't know, it just adds that little extra detail. It also makes it incredibly easy to finish something off like this, because all I did was sew it on, you know, make lines, straight lines, and then I could trim my fabric and then fringe it, and it's all sewed on, so it's all fine. You know, it's not going to come apart, and it just gives a little something. So yeah, that is Tulip Festival from Brenda Gervais in a wall hanging. And that is FFO number 17. 17 in 2023. And let me tell you, I am just getting started in the month of March. It's crazy how much because I also have quite a few things that I have started working on, or I don't know what to call them. I'll call them an FFO in process. So what would that be? An FFO IP? Oh, and then I didn't explain. This is just the full 6 strands of a piece of Classic Colorworks Shamrock to make her bow, which is on the chart. I love this stitch so much. I love the colors. I love the design. It was so much fun to you know, actually stitch. And now it's fully finished and I can hang it up. Although I'm not sure where I'm going to put it yet. I'd figure that out. But now I can enjoy it. Oh. All right, so this FFO Challenge 2023. And by the way, I don't think I've told you all, anyone that is participating in this, thank you so much. I'm going to tell you that every video that I talk about it. Seriously, I am blown away every time people keep posting things up and using the hashtag and telling Jen and I thank you for doing this and how it's helping, and people talking about how old some of their projects are and they're pulling them out and getting them fully finished and they can enjoy them. It honestly, it fills my heart with joy, because I have been feeling that way myself about all these things, and now getting them done. Yes. All right. So I said I have 3 FFOs. Let me share one more with you. And so this is number 18 of 2023. And it is from Heartstring Samplery. It is Farm and Folk Penny Cushions. But I did this one here, which is called Here a Peep, There a Peep. But both of these are in the chart. So that is the chart picture. And let me show you my FFO. I love this one. Check it out. Is this so cool? Okay. So let's talk about this. First of all, this pillow is just a pre-made throw pillow that I bought at Target. And I have had this planned for a long, long time, that I wanted to somehow attach this to like a wrap for the pillow. And Jeff wanted to have this for his office because he liked it so much. So let me share quick details. So the stitching details, it is, let me make sure, yep, 32 count. So again, that means I stitched 2 floss threads over 2 linen threads. It's just a natural, I think natural is the color. Just a Zweigart, excuse me, a Zweigart natural 32 count linen. There we go. I used all called for colors. except I changed the cow up here to be a Holstein. So I used black instead of brown. And for those of you that have been around, you know that Jeff and I both grew up on farms. He on a dairy farm. My family's farm was not a dairy farm. We raised beef cattle, but both farms had primarily Holstein breed animals. So that's why I changed it to represent our history, if you will. But these colors, they're all Weeks Dye Works. I think they're so fun. So that is the stitching part. And so let's talk about the full finish. Like I said, this is just a pre-made pillow from Target. And it's just it was totally plain. So this fabric you see here, it's totally plain, except for the little tassels on the corners. But it came like that. And what I used is, this is Grunge Basics fabric. So you can see the variation in the fabric. It's not just a solid, which, you know, I love that. And I just loved this particular color with this because it works, but it's not like the stand out. It allows the stitch to stand out. I did not. This one, I did not put interfacing on the back of it because I liked the way the linen is a little bit of a more open weave a bit, enough that you could see this color of fabric kind of coming through. And if I put it on white interfacing, it just didn't have the same look. And because of all the stitching on the outside edges, I was able to get it pretty stable and straight without adding that interfacing to stabilize it. Okay, so I took a width of fabric piece of the fabric of the Grunge Basics. Sorry. And I folded it in half so I cut this, I think 8.5 inches wide with the fabric. So it was about 42 inches long. Folded it in half on the line that the fabric naturally comes in. And I just sewed a seam together on 2 sides because one side is folded. And then once I had that put together, then I laid out my stitch, and it is machine sewn on. It would be hard for me to show you exact, but you can not quite see because my thread matched so good. You can almost not, the sewing line is almost invisible. I think that's awesome. And then did my fringe treatment on this one. Again, it just makes it so easy. It's like putting a little patch on the wrap. And then I got to show you the back because I got to show you how I attach this. And I sent Liz a thank you message for her idea because I totally copied it and I think it's fantastic. So that's Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch, and she showed how she used some elastic cording to attach to buttons. Now I have a larger gap here than I would have liked to have, but I was just using that width of fabric and I didn't want to mess with piecing it together more or anything. So it was close enough in my opinion because it's on the back. So like I said, this edge here, you can see there's no seam there. It's just folded. This was open, so I was able to turn the whole tube right side out, and then I ironed it real nice and smooth and flat. I could not find buttons in my collection that matched, and I don't know why, but it dawned on me, oh, you have some covered button kit. So I just took scraps from the linen on my stitch and made the covered buttons, which are perfect for using these elastic loops to button. And then I cut, obviously, a piece of cord in 3 places and positioned it. And then I machine sewed this closed, which I planned on doing like a top stitch all the way around, and then I stitched it closed here. And you can see I did some reinforcing stitches there to make sure that would hold. And you can see I went all the way around with my top stitch just to keep it all flat and smooth. So now the main reason I did a wrap like this, make it simple, make it way more simple than making the whole pillow or making a whole pillow cover to fit. I could just wrap it, and especially because these loops are adjustable. At least that's what I figured out, because I thought I cut them snug enough to just kind of button on, and I went to button them and they were a smidge loose. And so all I did was wrap. I just took and wrapped it a little in a couple spots, a little bit, to tighten it up just enough to keep it on there. So even though there's this kind of a bigger gap here, this still looks almost good enough to just have it facing that way out, I think. So I'm really pleased with how that turned out, and I will be doing this kind of a finish again for 100% certain, because now that I did it, I'm like, oh wow, that was not too hard to do. And I just love how it looks. So Jeff's pretty excited to be able to take this and put it in his office. Of course, do you see Hocus Pocus in the background? That's supposed to be for his office. And where does it sit? In my craft room still. But yeah, so FFO number 18, and I just couldn't be more happy with it. And I think I shared all the details. Everything about this one, figuring out to do covered buttons and to use the leftover bits of linen from the project itself, and I don't know, just in the loop closures with the elastic cording. It's just, everything just came together on this one. Again, why did it take me so long to get it done? But when I talked to Jeff about that, he said, well, if you look at it this way, it's just over time you were thinking about it multiple times and making your plans. When I did get it fully finished this week, I was executing my plan that had been rolling around in my head multiple different times and ways. So yeah, that's Farm and Folk penny cushions from Heartstring Samplery. And that is, like I said, 18 FFOs for 2023 so far. That wraps up the FFO portion of my video. And now I kind of want to talk about, well, I sort of have one whip, and then the rest is sort of plans / Nashville needlework market loves and intentions. All right, we'll start with, it's a new start since I last talked to you, but it's definitely into whip process at this point. And that is, here's the chart picture, berry patch from Hello from Liz Mathews. And I forgot to grab a board, so we'll use this as my background, I guess. There we go. Here's where I'm at. So this is very fun to stitch on, but that's something I want to explain. So I don't know. Well, we talk about this a lot as stitchers. Some of us are monogamous stitchers. Some of us want to start everything and it's not as important to finish it, or, you know, and then everything kind of all ranges in between. So I was always a monogamous stitcher. Then I found Flosstube and Instagram, and I started more than one project at a time. And I won't ever go back to only having one project sort of going. But I have gotten my numbers way down from, you know, one time I think I had maybe 40 things started. I don't remember the exact numbers, but no, it was never 40. Maybe more like 30. And that's a little too many for me to have going at once. And I have a hard time, once I'm involved with stitching something, to kind of set it aside. Unless I get frustrated with it. And then it's like, okay, let's put it in timeout and move on. So anyway, all that to say, for me, I would say I'm almost a monogamous stitcher in terms of it's hard for me, like I said, to put something down once I'm working on it. And so I'm having a struggle, and I don't know if that's the right word, but that's what I'm going to use. Struggle with wanting to do all of this FFO work and be able to work on stuff like that and really be committed to it. You know, I'm in my craft room, I'm using my sewing machine, or however else, other ways that I'm fully finishing things. And so I'm really like committed to doing that process. And for an FFO, at least for me, most of the time I don't have a pattern or instructions, I guess, to be doing the FFO like you do for a cross stitch chart, right? You have the chart, and even if you're going to make changes, you still have a very defined direction in what you're doing. So when I'm FFO process of things, my brain is really, really engaged. And it's like a one-track mind that I'm really focused on that. And so if I can't finish an FFO, or what most likely happens for me is I have demands of my family, right? Or not demands, responsibilities of my family. Making dinner, for example, or people get home from school and we have homework or those kinds of things to do. And I have to walk out of my craft room and change where my brain is and what I'm doing. And I can do that for those important responsibilities. What I have a hard time doing is with my crafts is to change my train of thought and to move on to my next sort of project, while in the meantime, I have sitting in my head, okay, I have this on my cutting table and I'm halfway through or in the middle of it, and to be able to step away from it and work on something else. So that's just a challenge for me and what I'm working on. So like this, I would love to be able to just sit down and just be stitching away on it, and I could probably be a whole lot farther than I am. But like I showed you, I was quite busy with a lot of FFO stuff. So I don't know if that made a lot of sense to all of you, but again, it's something I want to challenge myself with, and I want to, but it's almost like my brain is tired. So by the time evening comes, when I would be able to have dedicated stitching time and I'm sitting with my family and we watch TV or something, and that's when I do a lot of my stitching, is when I'm with them and I, not in my craft room. Well, if I spent most of the day in the craft room working on something, it's almost like my brain is drained a bit. And it's like I don't even want to pick this up. Does that make sense? So I'm just adjusting and working my way through. So I'm going to show you some plans and ideas and things that I have, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to them all, or they're going to maybe have to, some of them will have to go into my kit drawer, my kitted up projects, and maybe come out next year for spring stitching. So, okay, back to Berry Patch from Hello from Liz Mathews. I am stitching this on 36 count antique crochet lace from Nicholas Flamel Design. And since 36 count, that means I'm stitching 1 floss thread over 2 linen threads. I am using all the called for DMC colors, except for one change. And for those of you that have listened to me talk in the past, you're gonna laugh. It is Classic Colorworks Toasted Marshmallow. I think it stitches up great for me, and I love the color of it, and it worked really well with this stuff. So you can see all those flowers that I've stitched so far in that. You know what, the other thing I'm having almost, it's a challenge, is as I'm stitching things, used to be I could just stitch and stitch and stitch and didn't really worry too much about what I intended to do with it as an FFO. I'd figure that out later. And now that I'm doing all these FFOs, it's a challenge for me with stitching now. If I don't have an intended FFO plan, it makes it less, I'm less committed to getting it done. I think I said that right. I still have all of that joy in the stitching. It's not that, it's just that I don't have that singular focus on finishing it because I'm doing these other things and I don't have a specific plan for it. So in that respect, I think that the FFO challenge is doing me a whole lot of good, because I think as I continue to go on, that hopefully I will have some intentions, at least some ideas of how I want to fully finish something right from the get-go. So, all right, all of that just to explain to you my current whip of Berry Patch from Hello from Liz Mathews. Okay. So, like I said, that is the only real stitching that I am working on right now. But I have a few other things that I want to get out and get started. And I'm going to show those to you. And then I also want to talk about Nashville Needle Market a little bit, about what I have sort of ready to go. Okay, so up next that I want to get started, and I've shown this before, so I won't belabor it, but this is Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery. It's Hester's special delivery. And I have this all kitted up in my, I'm going to call it my spring stitching bag, because I have several projects in here ready to go. This is one of them, and the Berry Patch, here's my bag. Berry Patch is in here also. And then also what's in here, now that I finished the Farm and Folk penny cushions into a pillow, on here is this second cute pillow. It is called Folk Bouquet, and I have had this kitted up since I was stitching on that other one that I fully finished. So all the called for threads and same fabric ready to go. And I would really like to get this stitched up because I really like the colors and I think it's really cute for spring. So that is in my spring stitching bag. And let's see, what's next? Okay. Let me see. Yes. All right. So the other things that I would like to get started, and these are the spring things. There are other things that I pre-ordered from Nashville Needle Market, but I'm just going to talk mainly about, I think these are all the spring ones that I ordered. I have one of my orders I've gotten, one I haven't. So I'll have to insert a couple of pictures up here and when I get there. So I have another new project bag from Jenni Simply Stitching. I hope I said that right. I'll have a link to her Etsy shop down below, and I will have her tag down below too, so that you can go find her. If I'm saying your name wrong, Jenni, I'm sorry, but I love my bag. So I am in her monthly club, and so this is the March bag that I just got, and I should have warned you to look away if you're in the club and you didn't get yours yet. So don't pay attention for the next minute or so because I'm going to show the details of this. But like I said, this is her March monthly bag. Look at the little spool of thread detail there. But I love her bags. And if you know me, green is my favorite color. I just love this. So, and then just to show you, so with the monthly club, you get a little extra something that comes with the bag. And I love this so much. It's so cute. So it is this awesome scissor fab. Can you see? I'll bring it closer. Look at the little cute heart charm and the spool of thread. And then she has a little charm on there. You won't be able to see it very good on the video, but she stamped a little M on there for Michelle. And I just love it. And I don't know if I'll end up using it as a scissor fab or if I'm going to use it as a zipper pull, because that's what I really like to do. But thank you, Jenni, for awesome fun. So I just need to show that off because I just got it and I love it so much. And what I have in here are some of my Nashville Needlework releases. So let's see. I wrote them down in order that I wanted to show you. First one I have is from Teresa Kogut, and it's Egg Collector. I love this bunny. Love, love, love. Love it. I can't wait to start this, and I'm having a hard time that I haven't started it yet. So, and I just got it yesterday. I think it just arrived yesterday. I have it kitted up with the called for, although I think there's a couple of fancy flosses that have DMC conversions, and I may use a couple of DMC converted colors in some places. And I have not for sure picked out my fabric that I'm going to stitch this on yet, although I do know that I will choose something out of my fabric library and I will stitch it on 40 count for sure. And I may use the called for because I do have some. I just haven't fully decided yet. All right, so that is from Teresa Kogut. And up next, okay, this is one that I haven't gotten yet, but it's supposed to arrive tomorrow. according to the tracking. And here's the picture of it. It is Plum Street Samplers, Penny Spring. I'm sure it's no surprise to you that this was a must-have for me. And I can't wait to get it because I will start it immediately. I have the called for flosses ready to go. I will, and from what I know that the called for fabric was, I think I have it. Again, I'm not 100% sure what I will use for fabric, but I will use 40 count on that one also. And so I'm really excited about that one. Oh, Penny Spring, yay! Another penny chart. It's been a while since I've been working on one, I think. And let's see. And then also in my bag, I have 2 of the With Thy Needle and Thread releases that I have them kitted up, but I need to choose fabrics. And the first one is the Robins Are Here. There we go. A little less glare. The Robins Are Here. I love these chubby birds. They're so cute. Ah! It'd be so fun to stitch. And also from With Thy Needle and Thread is Spring Awakens. So some really cute bunnies. And again, I have the floss ready to go, called for, and I just need to choose some fabric out of my fabric library to get those started. So, like I said, the Teresa Kogut Egg Collector and Penny Spring from Plum Street Samplers, those are the very highest on my priority list and wanting to get started. But, so how many is that I showed you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things that are just all spring themed and all things that I want to get started and stitch. I don't know that I can get all those done and do FFOs also. So we'll see. They may get started and I may actually challenge myself to put them away for until next year. Just see what I feel like doing as I work my way along. And so those are my plans along with, okay, so those are my sort of stitching plans, but I have lots of FFO plans to work on. So I am in process with several of my FFOs that are part of my FFO March Madness. And obviously once the voting is final after Friday's vote, I'll have my final 4, and those 4 I need to get done before the end of the month. And let's see. Oh, I have it written down. Okay. I need to have those 4 done before March 28th. So it gives me a couple weeks to get those 4 done. And March 28th will be the next round of voting starting for those last 4 and to pick the favorite project of the whole month. All right. I think that wraps everything up. I am feeling really crazy right now with all these plans and how am I going to get it all done. But I'm reminding myself that I don't have to get everything done. I just need to have fun and have enjoyment from it all, right? So I explained all of FFO March Madness. As a reminder, you can go over to my Instagram and it will be in my stories on Instagram that you will be able to vote. And voting will be back up on Tuesday, March 14th, the 15th, 16th, and 17th. You'll be able to vote over on Instagram and we'll get to the final 4. And I will get another video up sharing those results, so then you know what you have to look forward to toward the end of the month with what will be fully finished. So, voting for March Madness, I discussed my plans. I do want to ask if you are working on FFOs at all. Would you mind sharing with me down below in the comments? Or maybe any strategies that you found that you're getting more done than you expected, or found a way to be more efficient, I guess, and get more done. I don't know. Anything like that. It would be wonderful to hear. Or just to pat yourself on the back and share your counts. That sounds great too. No matter how many they are, that you're doing it is what's great, right? So, and please continue to share over on Instagram using the hashtag FFO Challenge 2023, because I love seeing them all. It inspires me, keeps me going, even if I maybe am not feeling in the mood for it. It's like, no, other people are doing them too. So it just really helps me be motivated and be inspired. And I'm hearing everyone else feels the same way. Even if you're following it just for ideas, it's really great. So I think that wraps everything up. I think I'm babbling now. Like I said at the beginning, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And hit that bell for notifications on when I post another video. And head on over to Instagram for voting. And let's see, it was really great to catch up and to share my progress with you today. And I hope you had fun. As always, thank you so much for sharing your time with me, and I will talk to you soon.